Yes, hello. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you. Everyone, please confirm. Am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Good evening, Dadan. Good evening, Kundan. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Pooja. Everyone, please confirm. Beta, am I audible? Am I visible clearly to all of you? Audio video is clear. Very good. How are you all? How are you all? So I hope you all are good and preparing well for your exam. Uh, or in this class, we are going to start our linear measurement. Now we will talk about the measurement of the distances. There are various instruments from which we can measure the horizontal distance between the 2 points, but particularly as per our exam point of view, as per our syllabus point of view, we are going to discuss about the chain or tape. So we will use the chain or tape as an instrument for measuring the horizontal distance. We need to measure the two types of the distance, horizontal distance and vertical distance. Similarly, we need to measure the two types of the angle, horizontal angle and vertical angle. So one by one we will see. One by one we will see what are the various instruments. So in that discussion, first we are going to discuss about the horizontal distance measurement. Clear? So first we will talk about the horizontal distance measurement. We are going to start our new topic, that is the chain or tape surveying. Chain or tape surveying. So let's start the discussion. So in this class, what we will cover? So we will talk about the linear measurement, surveying chains, what are the various chains that are available, measuring tapes, instrument used in the chain surveying, and we will talk about the principle of chain surveying and terminology. And we will talk about the what are the various obstructions are there which are available in the case of chain surveying. So these are the topics that we are going to cover in this class. Let's start the discussion. Should we start our discussion? I hope the discussion till the last class. In the last class, we have discussed about the scale, and that discussion is clear to everyone. So as of now, we have completed fundamental of surveying, and in our linear measurement, we have discussed about the scales. Everyone, please do confirm the discussion till now. The discussion till the last class is clear to everyone. The discussion till the last class is clear to everyone. I hope I am audible clearly to all of you, because I have some throat pain due to the cough and cold. So am I audible clearly? At this volume, am I audible clearly? Or should I increase my voice? No, I'm okay. Just little bit pain due to the weather change. Due to the weather change, but no problem with that. We will continue our class, don't worry. Okay. So, yes, now we are going to start our discussion. Let's see one by one. Very simple discussion is there. So linear measurement, we have already talked about the linear measurement. It deals with the measurement of distances. It deals with the measurement of distance. So those who have missed the previous discussion, there are three types of the distances that we can define. One is going to be the horizontal distance. One is going to be the horizontal distance. Let's revise quickly. Another is going to be the inclined distance. And next is going to be the vertical distance. Next is going to be the vertical distance. So, if the points are lying on the same plane, if the points are lying on the same plane, so that distance you can consider that distance you can consider between the point, you can consider as the horizontal distance. If the points are lying on a different plane and theta is not equal to 90 degree, and theta is not equal to 90 degree, so the situation is something like this. So let's say this is the plane and you have another plane like this. This is the point A and this is the point B. Now let's say this is going to be the horizontal distance. This is going to be AB dash. AB dash is going to be the horizontal distance and AB is going to be the inclined distance. AB is going to be the inclined distance, and this is the value of, this is the slope, or you can say this is the theta. So theta should not equal to 0 and theta should not equal to 90, because as the theta is going to be 0, as the theta will be equal to 0, this distance is going to be the horizontal distance, there will be no slope. In the case of horizontal distance, there is no slope. And if this theta is 90 degree, then you can say this is going to be the vertical distance. So let's say this is the one plane and this is the another plane. This is the point A, let's say this is the point B. Now we can again, here you can define this angle and this angle will be 90 degree. So if we are measuring the distance perpendicular to the plane, that distance we have defined as the vertical distance. So this is going to be your vertical distance. So first we are going to measure, first our discussion is related to the measurement of the horizontal distance. Measurement of the horizontal distance. So this is not the fact that we are studying the surveying, then we are, that's why we are measuring the distances. We are measuring the distance from long time back. Yes, or in our day-to-day life, there are the various measurements, rough estimation, rough measurements we are performing. Like we can measure the distance with the help of the steps. Yes or no? There are various methods. So we can broadly classify the methods for measuring the horizontal distance of two types. One is going to be the direct measurement and another is going to be the indirect measurement. So let's talk about the methods for measuring the distance. So one is going to be the direct measurement and another is going to be the indirect measurement. Broadly, we are classifying these methods in two types: direct measurement of the distances, or you can say indirect measurement of the distances. So how we can measure this distance? What is the direct measurement? What is the indirect measurement? Let's talk about this. Let me check comments are visible or not. Yes. So if we are measuring the distance, what is main objective? What is our main objective? We want to measure the horizontal distance. If we are going to the field and we are measuring the distance directly, that will be considered as the direct measurement. Indirect measurement means we will measure some other quantity. We will measure some another quantity, and with the help of that quantity we can also calculate the distance. That means we are not measuring the distance directly. On the field we are measuring some other quantity. On the basis of that quantity we can define, we can calculate the distance also. So let's take example. Then we will again come back to this slide. So what are the various example? For example, there are 2 points A and B. Now what we can do? We can use the tape. We will put one end of the tape at point A and we will start our measurement, or on the tape with the help of the graduations till the point B. We can measure the distance. Yes or no? Simple. With the help of the tape we can measure the distance between the 2 points. With the help of this scale, can we measure the distance between the 2 points? Yes or no? Yes. With the help of this scale we can measure the distance between the 2 points. Let's take the starting of the scale at point A and till the point B we can perform the measurement something like this. What it will represent? It will tell you directly the distance between the point A and B. Yes or no? It will directly tell you about the distance between the point A and B. I hope the point is clear to everyone. In this way, we can measure the distance. Yes or no? Please confirm in the chat box. And in this practice, we are measuring the distance directly on the ground. Yes or no? For example, there are some other ways are also there. Like there is a person who are moving from point A to point B, and he or she is counting, the number of steps. He or she is counting the number of steps to cover the distance from A to point B. To cover the distance from point A to point B. So directly they are not measuring the distance. Directly they are not measuring the distance. What they are measuring? They are measuring the number of steps. Number of steps, yes or no? Let's say 5. Now how we can measure the distance? Yes, pacing. This is the concept of the pacing. Absolutely right. So number of steps to cover the distance from the point A to point B. Let's say these are the 5 steps. 5 steps are required. Now how we can calculate the distance AB? AB is going to be, AB distance will be equal to total number of steps. Total number of steps or the paces and distance covered in each pace or step. So in the field we are measuring, in the field we are counting the number of steps or paces. So this concept of the measuring the distance is known as the pacing, and this is the indirect measurement. This is the example of the indirect measurement. We have calculated the distance indirectly. You must have seen the wheel like this. So for example, this is the point A and B. Now what we can do, we can use a wheel, pesometer, odometer. Yes. So what we will say, we will see from point A to P, we are going to measure the number of rotations to cover the distance from A to B. We will count the number of rotations. Now what will be the distance in this case? What will be this distance AB? This will be equal to number of rotations into pi into D. Let's say that D is the dia of this wheel. D is the dia of this wheel. Yes. So this is the direct measurement or indirect measurement? This is the direct measurement or indirect measurement? Just wait for a minute. Yes. So this is the direct measurement or indirect measurement of the distances. This is the direct measurement or indirect measurement. Obviously, both these examples are related to the indirect measurement. I hope that what is the difference between the direct measurement and what is the difference between the direct and indirect measurement is clear to everyone. Yes or no? Is clear to everyone? So, like in the bike, in the car, we are using the speedometer. In the bike, in the car, we are using the speedometer. With the help of the speedometer, we can measure the speed as well as we can measure the distance. Why? How? Because with the help of this relation, we know velocity is equal to distance upon time. So if I want to measure the distance between the point A and B, what I will do? From which velocity we are covering this distance AB, if I can measure the V, I can measure the time required. I can measure the time required to cover the distance from A to B. So if we know the speed, if we know the time, can we calculate the distance? Can we calculate the distance? So distance is going to be V into T. Again, this is going to be your indirect measurement. Again, this is going to be your indirect measurement. So everyone please confirm, beta. Everyone please confirm what is the difference between the direct measurement of the distances and the indirect measurement of the distances is clear to everyone. So broadly we can classify our methods for measuring the horizontal distance into two types. One is going to be the direct measurement, another is going to be the indirect measurement. So now let's move back to the original slide. So in the direct measurement, it includes the use of the instrument like chain, tape, arrow, ranging rod. We will talk one by one. So what are these instruments? What is the use of these instruments? How we are going to use on the field? All that point we are going to cover in the class. Don't worry. So directly we are measuring the distance. We can also measure the distance with the help of the optical measurements method. So in this case, what will we do? The instrument is ideal when the ground is not suitable for the surveying uneven. This is the applicability of the optical measurements. We will talk about the optical measurements also. Electronic distance measurement instrument. Electronic measurement instruments. So what is the principle of the EDMI? What is the principle? Let's say this is the point A. Let's say this is the point A and this is the point B. I want to measure the distance between the point A and B. Now what we will do? We will use some radiation. We will use some radiation and here there will be the sender. So sender will send the radiation from point A to point B. Sender will send the radiation from point A to point B, and there we are going to use the reflector. Here we are going to use the reflector. So reflector will do. It will reflect this rays back to the sender. Yes or no? So let's say the time is here. We are going to use the time counter. So a time counter will be there. That time counter will measure what is the total time, travel time required to cover the distance from point A to point B. Whatever radiation we are using, we know all the characteristics of that radiation. Yes or no? We are using the known radiation, so that means we know the speed. In that case, we know the speed. Speed is known to us. Time we can count with the help of the time, we can measure with the help of the time counter. Again, we can use this expression velocity is equal to distance upon time, or we can calculate the horizontal distance between the point A and B is going to be V into T. So if the ground is even, if the ground is smooth like this, for example, these are the points A and B, we can easily measure the distance with the help of the simple instruments like chain or tape. If the ground is even, if there is no unevenness in the ground, we can measure this horizontal distance between the points A and B with the simple instruments like chain or tape. But listen carefully. If the ground conditions are like this, let's say if the ground conditions are like this, this is your point A and this is your point B. Now if you want to measure the distance between the point A and B, if you want to measure the horizontal distance between the point A and B, don't you think the conventional method chain or tape, if the ground profile is like this, if the ground profile is uneven, the conventional method, the chain or tape is going to be not suitable for this particular case? Yes or no? So that's why when the ground are uneven, in that case we required some optical methods, we required some electromagnetic instruments, EDMI, to measure the horizontal distance between the point A and B when the ground is uneven. I hope the point is clear to everyone. So to measure the horizontal distance, there are various instruments. So you should have one question. You should have one question, sir. If we can measure the horizontal distance with the help of the chain or tape, so why we are discussing about the various instruments? Because there is no instrument which can fulfill your all requirements. So in depending upon the site condition, depending upon the availability of the instrument, depending upon the resources, for example, tape will cost 500 rupees, let's say, but tape will cost 500 rupees, but if you want to use the EDMI, it will comes for a lakh. So we have not that much resources. And the most important thing, what is your requirement? We want approximate measurement. For example, in day-to-day life, we are performing various linear measurement. So we are not using for any particular instrument for that. Yes or no? We are not using particular instrument for that. So for example, there was some electric work going on, repairing work was going on my home, and electrician told me, just bring the wire, just bring a piece of wire, just bring a piece of wire. So I asked the electrician, how much wire is required, what will be the length of the wire that you are required. So approximately electrician told me, bring this much length of the wire, bring the wire that should have length approximately this one. So this was the horizontal distance, this was the horizontal distance between the point A and B. In that case, we don't require higher degree of accuracy, higher degree of precision. So I went to the shop and I bring this wire. It's simple. Yes or no? But sometimes when we required accuracy, when we required precision, we required sophisticated instruments, advanced instruments. That's why we will discuss about the various instruments for the measurement of the distances. So you can select as per your suitability, as per your requirement. You can select any particular instrument which suits you, which suits your requirement, which fulfill your requirements. I hope this point is clear to everyone. I hope the discussion till now is clear to everyone. I hope the discussion till now is clear to everyone. Okay, so now let's move further. So now we are using the chains for the measurement. Obviously, chains are not very accurate. So surveying chain is the simple chain. How we can form a chain? So there will be the links, different link. Those are connected with the oval rings, circular rings like this. And to hold this chain, there will be a handle at both the end. So can I say this is going to be the chain? Various links are connected. Various links are connected to each other and they are forming a chain. So let's say the most important thing, the handle length is also included in the length of the chain. So handle length is not separate length. This length is also included in your length of the chain. So this is the simple chain. We can use these chain for the measurement of the distances, but with the help of the chain survey, if you are measuring the distance, accuracy is not going to be high. Accuracy will be less. So it consists of a number of links It consists of the number of links made of galvanized iron bent into the loops. These links are connected in series by small connecting links. So these are your connecting links. These are your connecting rings. I hope the point is clear to everyone. In this way, we can form a chain. And these chain we can use for the linear measurement. These chain we can use for the measurement of the distances. So, what are the various types of chain that are available? So, we have Gunter's chain, that also known as the surveyor chain. We have revenue chain with their different specifications. We have engineer's chain, and we have metric chain. We have metric chain. So all these chains have their different specification. Like engineer's chain is available total 100 feet long length. So what will be the total length of the engineer's chain? What will be the total? From this particular topic, they may can ask two types of the problem. Listen carefully. In your exam, you can get two types of the problem from this particular topic. First problem will be related to the specification of the different chain. Like in engineer's chain, the total length of the engineer's chain is going to be 100 feet. As you can see, the total length of the engineer's chain is going to be 100 feet, and the number of links in the engineer's chains are going to be 100. This is the very simple problem that they can ask from this particular topic. The different types of the chain and their specification, total length and the number of link. Like we have metric chain. In the case of metric chain, 30-meter length is also available, 20-meter length is also available. In the 150 links and 100 links. So these specifications that you should know. The second type of the problem that they can ask, like they can mention कि we are going to measure the horizontal distance between the point A and B. In our survey work, we have measured the distance between the point A and B with the help of the chain, and the distance between the point A and B was 5 links of engineer's chain. 5 links of engineer's chain. And let's say we are having the 20-meter metric chain and 2 links of 20-meter metric chain. 2 links of 20-meter metric chain. So can you please tell me what will be the horizontal distance between the point A and B? Yes. So we are not we are not discussing the construction detail of the chain. So whatever is the discussion, just try to understand how they are asking the question in our exam. Our discussion will be related to that. So we are not going to the construction detail. We are not going to the construction detail of the different chain. Again, I am repeating, the syllabus of your surveying is quite vast. Nearly we have to cover the 15 chapters. So in the first class itself, I have mentioned clearly whatever discussion will be there, that will be related from our exam point of view. Because in a limited time, we have to compress our subject, we have to complete our subject effectively. So first we will focus on those topics that are relevant and important from our exam point of view. So what they have asked? What they have asked? They are asking about the horizontal distance between the point A and B, and the data that they have provided. Ki in the field we have measured the distance between the point A and B, and the total distance was 5 links of engineer's chain and 2 links of 20-meter metric chain. So what will be the distance? Yes. So you can answer this question only if you know the specification of these chains. If you know the specification of the engineer's chain, if you know the specification of the 20-meter metric chain, then only you can report the answer. So you can get these type of the question in your exam also. So these specifications are important from your exam point of view. These specifications are important from your exam point of view. I hope the point is clear to everyone. I hope the point is clear to everyone, yes or no? How they can ask the question from this particular topic? Clear? If we know the specification, yes, we can report the answer. So these are the different type of the chain we can use. We can also use the tape for the measurement. We can also use tape for the measurement of the horizontal distance. We can also use tape for the horizontal distance, measurement of the horizontal distance. So there are various types of the tapes also. Like we have cloth or linen tape, but cloth or linen tape is having some disadvantage. Like these tapes are available in the length of 10-meter length, 20-meter length, 25-meter length and 30-meter length. So cloth tapes are available in various length, 10 meter, 20 meter, 25 meter and 30 meter. Drawbacks क्या है इसके? What are the various drawbacks? They change in the length. There is a change in the length due to the shrinkage, due to the stretching, and these tapes are also affected by the dampness and heat. And they can easily twist. Cloth tape can easily twist. When you are going to perform the linear measurement, you will apply some pull on the end of the tape. So what will occur? Due to that applied pull, the length of tape may get stretched. So with the help of the incorrect tape, can we perform the correct measurement? With the help of the incorrect or inaccurate instrument, can we perform the correct measurements? Answer is going to be no. Yes or no? So these are some drawbacks that we may face in the case of cloth tape. But yes, the cloth tapes are available in the length of 10 meter, 20 meter, 25 meter and 30 meter length. So if there is any drawback, we need to improve. We need to improve, yes or no? So we have another type of tape that is going to be the glass fiber tape. So they do not shrink or stretch due to the temperature changes. Temperature susceptibility is better as compared to the cloth tape. Therefore, these tapes are more useful than the ordinary linen or cloth tape. So to counter the temperature variation, to counter the effect of the temperature variation, we have improved the properties of the tape and we can use the glass fiber tape for the measurements. Another we are having the metallic tape. These tapes are comparatively more durable as compared to the linen tape, but these tapes are prone to the temperature variation because these are made up of the metals. So due to the increase in the temperature, due to the increase in the field temperature, the length of tape will increase. Elongation will be there. Yes or no? If the field temperature is greater than the standard temperature of the material, in that case, when you will work with that tape on the field, the length of tape may get increased. Yes or no? Similarly, if the field temperature is less than the standard temperature or the construction temperature of the material, in that case, the length will decrease. Shrinkage will be there. So yes, these effect we will see in the case of metallic tape. These effect we will see in the case of metallic tape. Next tape is the steel tape. These are more accurate than the metallic tape, having the length 1 to 50 meter. Steel tapes are available in the length of 1 to 50 meter and they are more durable as compared to the more accurate and more durable as compared to the metallic tape. We are having the best tape, and the best tape for the linear measurement is going to be the inward tape. Best tape in for the linear measurement is going to be the inward tape. So what is the specification of the inward tape? So it is made up of the alloy of steel and nickel. So this is important from your exam point of view. In the exam they are frequently asking कि alloy inward tape is made up of alloy of steel and nickel. 64% steel will be there and 36% nickel will be there. So these tapes are very accurate. These tapes are very accurate, but these are expensive. These are expensive. So yesterday we have discussed about the principles of surveying. So what was the first principle of surveying? What was the first principle of surveying? Anyone? What was the first principle of surveying? Working from whole to part. Absolutely right. So as per the first principle of surveying, sir, generally which type of tape we are using? We are using the inward tape. In field, for the linear measurement, we are using the inward tape. So the first principle of the surveying was working from whole to part. Yes, absolutely correct. So as per the first principle of surveying, you need to define the boundaries or the main stations first. Yes or no? Whenever you will go for the survey, first you will define the main stations or the control stations. You need to define the boundary first itself. So for defining the main stations, for defining the boundary, for locating the control stations, always we are going to define the main stations. We are going to define all these points A, B, C, D. We are going to define all these points A, B, C, D with the help of a reference, yes or no. So we are going to define the relative position of the point A, B, C, D. And for defining the relative position of any point, we require two types of the measurement. One is the linear measurement and one is the angular measurement. Both are same. RIA. You can say main stations or control stations. Both are same. So to defining the main stations or control stations, like A, B, C, D are the main stations in this work, we can say. So to define the relative position of these points, we need to perform certain linear measurements, and we want to define these points very accurately. There should be no error in the position of the point A, B, C, D. Otherwise, if we are defining the position inaccurately, wrongly, then we are defining the entire area as a whole wrongly. Yes or no? So in this case, for the linear measurement, which tape we should use to define the position, to define the relative position of the point A, B, C or D? We have to use the best tape so that we can define these points accurately. If we will able to define these points accurately, we can say we can define this entire area as a whole accurately. Yes. So generally we are using the inward tape for the linear measurement in the field work, but again, there is no as such fixed rule. We will always use the inward tape. Let's say we don't have any inward tape and we need to perform the linear measurement, then we have to go for the other options. So there is no rigidity like this कि we will only use these instruments. That's why we are discussing about the various instruments. So whatever is available, we need to perform. In the limited resources, we can perform the linear measurements. We can perform our measurements. We can collect our data. So whenever accurate linear measurement is required, can we say Whenever accurate linear measurement is required, we will always use the inward tape. An inward tape is made up of the alloy of the steel and nickel. Alloy of the steel and nickel, in the case of steel, steel will be 64% and nickel will be 36%. So I hope the discussion till now is clear to everyone. I hope the discussion till now is clear to everyone. Yes. So now we are moving for the linear measurement and we are discussing about the chain survey. So now we are moving heading towards the chain survey. So in the case of chain survey, most important instrument that is required, definitely that is going to be the chain, and we have discussed about the chain. What are the various types of the chain that we have already covered. But in the case of chain survey, there are some other instruments, or you can say some other accessories is also required along with the chain. Sir, part 2 hole is also correct or not? Follow the previous lecture. Pooja, you missed the last class? You missed the yesterday's class? So based on your query, I can say definitely you have missed the yesterday's class. So everyone please tell in the chat box. Everyone please tell in the chat box. Pooja is asking, sir, part 2 hole is also correct or not? What will be the answer? So those who have attended the previous class can answer this question, can answer this query in the chat box. Part 2 hole is not a principle of surveying. This is absolutely incorrect. This is absolutely incorrect. Part 2 hole is not a principle of surveying. Why? If we are going for the part 2 hole, Dadan is saying part 2 hole is not correct. Definitely sahi hai. Yes, there will be the accumulation of the error. You cannot prevent the error. You cannot cross check the error. Whatever measurements you are performing at the end of the survey work, you cannot cross check your measurements. So if I talk about the principle of surveying, working from whole to part is a principle. Part to whole is not a principle. Can we move further? Can we move further? So, yes, along with the chain, there are some other instruments that are required. Now we will talk about one by one about their specification and their use. So we required wooden pegs. We required wooden pegs. So if I talk about the wooden pegs, so you must have seen an instrument something like this. So these are your wooden pegs. Total height will be of 15 centimeter. These are available in the height of 15 centimeter made up of the wood. One end is pointed. So we can install this wooden peg with the help of the wooden hammer. So if you want to locate any point on the ground, if you want to mark any point on the ground, so what we will do, we will take this wooden peg like this and we will place this wooden peg with the help of the wooden hammer on the ground like this. In this way, we can mark this ground point, yes or no. So to locating the main stations in the chain survey, to locating the main stations, boundaries stations, we can use the wooden peg. So let's also take an example. So for example, this is the area that you need to survey with the help of the chain survey. So as per the first principle of surveying, first we need to define this area as a whole. First we need to define this area as a whole, yes or no. So to defining this area as a whole, we need to mark some stations. We need to mark some stations like this. We need to mark some stations like this, yes or no. These are your main stations. So how you will mark this station on the ground? So these stations we are going to mark with the help of the wooden peg. At every main stations we will install a wooden peg. Station means point. Station means point. Yes. Clear? To locate the main stations, we are going to use the wooden peg. Clear? Yes. So this is the use of the wooden peg. Another accessories is arrow. So arrow is the simply wire. Arrow is the simple wire like this, and having the dia of 4 mm. Having the dia of 4 mm, so it will look something like this. Just try to visualize. It will look something like this. So this is the arrow. One end is going to be the pointed. One end is going to be the pointed. This dia will be of 50 mm or 5 centimeter. The pointed part is having the dimension of 15 mm. Again, at any position of the ground, can we install this arrow? Because this end is pointed, so can we install this arrow like this on the ground? These arrow we are using for locating the intermediate stations. For example, if you want to measure the distance between the point A and B, let's say this length is more. This length is more than the chain length. This length between the point A and B is more than a chain length. So obviously in a single chain you will not able to measure this distance AB. If this distance AB is greater than the chain length, so in a single step we cannot measure the distance AB with the help of the chain. In that case, what we will do? In that case, first we will start our measurement from the point A, something like this. Let's say this is one chain. Now what we will do? We will install a arrow here and we will move this end to the point B. Yes or no? To locate the intermediate stations, this point you can consider as a intermediate. At a intermediate stations, to locate the intermediate stations, we are using the arrow. So what is the use of the wooden peg and what is the use of the arrow? I hope this point is clear to everyone. In the case of chain survey, yes or no? Some other accessories is also required, like we required ranging rod. So as you can see in this diagram, this is the ranging rod having the length of 2 meter. So ranging is the process of locating the number of points on a long survey line. For this, ranging rods are used to locate the intermediate points such that these points lies on the straight line. Let's take the previous example. As you can see, we can also place. So if I want to measure the distance AB, this may be the possibility. See, I have used the chain somewhere like this, and this was the point B. Then we have measured second part. We have used the chain like this. Can you see? You can easily see, sir, there is a misalignment. This is not the correct distance AB. Yes or no? This is not the correct distance AB. यहाँ पर क्या हुआ? There is a misalignment of the chain. The correct distance between the AB will be like this green one. The correct distance between the point AB is going to be this green line. So what we can do? For aligning the line, For extending this line, we can use the ranging rod. So for this purpose, we can use the ranging rod. Let's say we are having the ranging rod 1. So what we will do, we will place the ranging rod at intermediate station. We will place the ranging rod at this intermediate station, and we will have one more ranging rod, and that we will move like this. So to locate the point C, we will use this ranging rod, and we are observing this rod from the point A. And if there will be the proper alignment, between these two ranging rods, can I say, then we can extend our line, and then there will be no error. So this is the use of the ranging rod. So we also required ranging rod in our survey work. No. We are not discussing anything about the cross staff. We have not discussed anything related to the cross staff as of now. As of now, we have discussed about the chain, we have discussed about the tape, we have discussed about the wooden peg, we have discussed about the arrow, and we have discussed about the ranging rod. What are their specification and what are their use? Yes. So now we can also use the offset rod in the case of chain survey. So first try to understand what is the offset. What is the offset? So let's say this is the area that you need to be survey. This is the area. Let's say this is your survey line. Let's say this is your survey line along which you are going to perform the measurement. Along which, in the direction of this survey line, we will perform our measurements. We will take the linear measurement. We will take the angular measurement. Can I say this is going to be the longitudinal direction? If we are moving from A to B, can I say this is going to be the longitudinal direction? We are moving from A to B. This is the direction of survey. Yes or no? Can we say it is the longitudinal direction or the direction of survey? So if this is the longitudinal direction, and if we are performing some measurements like this, let's say I am performing some measurements like this, can I say these are the lateral measurements? These are the lateral measurements, yes or no? Let's say I am measuring this distance in this way along the length. Riya, longitudinal direction means along the length. Longitudinal direction means along the length. So if this is our longitudinal direction, if we are taking these measurements like this, can I say these are the lateral measurements? Yes or no? And these lateral measurements are considered as the are considered as the offsets. This is the definition of the offset. These lateral measurements are considered as the offset. There are two types of the offset. If this lateral direction, if this angle is perfectly, if this theta is 90 degree, here theta is not 90 degree, here theta is not 90 degree, yes or no? But this is also the lateral measurement. Both are the lateral measurements, but in the first case you can see the angle is perfect 90 degree. For that we will use the term offset. So if theta is 90 degree, so that we can say these measurements are offset. But if theta is not equal to 90 degree, to represent, to explain these types of the offset, we are using the term as oblique offset. Sir, longitudinal measurement always be the longest. Yes. For example, this is the bottle. So can I represent the longitudinal axis along the length? This is going to be the longitudinal axis. Clear? So if this angle is perfectly 90 degree, for that we will use the term offset. The lateral measurements, those we are performing at an angle of perfect 90 degree. For that lateral measurement we will use the term offset. If the measurement is in the lateral direction but angle is not perfect 90 degree, for that we will use the term oblique offset. So what is offset and what are their types is clear to everyone? Please confirm in the chat box. What do you mean by the offset and what are their types? This point is clear to everyone. If anyone having any doubt, till now whatever we have discussed, you can ask your doubt, you can ask your query. If anyone having any doubt, any query till now, you can ask your doubt, you can ask your query. So to locate these offset, we required offset rods. So these are used to set out the offset lines at right angle. At right angle, theta will be equal to 90 degree to be survey lines to the survey line and also for measuring the small offset. For that we required offset rod. Next discussion is related to the cross staff. तो क्रॉस स्टाफ प्रिज्म स्क्वायर और ऑप्टिकल स्क्वायर, these are the instrument that we are using for measuring the 90 degree angle. So with the help of the cross staff, with the help of the prism square and with the help of the optical square, we can measure the 90 degree angles. No, Dadan, no. No. Is longitudinal measurement is the baseline? I don't know about the baseline. Why you are in so much hurry? We are discussing all the concepts one by one. Continuously, I am telling you the same thing. Just try to follow the process. So as of now, I don't think I have talked about the baseline. So why you are getting confused? If we don't know anything about the term, how we can relate that term? As of now, I don't know anything about the baseline. And I am expecting the same with you. Yes or no? So whatever previous knowledge is there, try to store. No problem with that. But if you are bringing that points, that concepts, meanwhile in the discussion, it will interrupt your learning experience. Yeah, that I have already covered. All lateral measurements that we are measuring at angle 90 degree. For that we are using the term offset. The lateral measurements which are not having the angle 90 degree, for that we will use the term oblique offset. For that we will use the term oblique offset. All the perfect lateral, what will be the lateral direction? So this is the longitudinal direction, this is the lateral direction, this is the transverse direction. I hope you must have studied about in the mechanics or SOM. You are aware how we can define these directions. Yes or no? So longitudinal direction, lateral direction, transverse directions, the angle is going to be 90 degree. In all the direction, between any two direction, the angle is going to be the 90 degree. Clear? Can we move further? Can we move further? Okay. So these are the instruments. With the help of these instruments, we can measure the 90 degree angles. What is the basic principle that we will talk? And we required plumb bob in the case of, we have already discussed about the plumb bob. So with the help of the plumb bob, we can locate the direction of the gravity. Sir, sometimes I have little bit confusion. That's why I am asking. So first let me complete, because again I will tell you, all the discussion is there. I am dealing this subject from last, I think, 8 to 9 years. And I have covered this subject multiple times in my career. So based on my experience, I can say in my discussion, I have seen so much doubts of of the students. So I have considered all the doubts. For example, if you are going to ask any unique doubt, let's say I am taking the surveying, we are discussing something, and let's say you have asked some doubts that have been never asked before. So now what I will do, whenever I will complete the surveying, whenever I will start the surveying next time, I will include your that doubt in my discussion, so that it will help for the students. It is going to be helpful for the students. So that's why I am saying I am going to explain the thing like this. Your all doubts will be answered. After the discussion, if you have any doubt, any query that is left, you can ask your doubt, you can ask your query. This should be the flow. So first concentrate on the discussion. So in this class itself, we will discuss about the baseline, we will discuss about the check line, we will discuss about the tie line. Then your doubt is going to be answered. Just wait for some time. Yes. So plumb bob, we have already discussed about the plumb bob. So what is the working principle? How we can measure the 90-degree angle with the help of the prism square or optical square. Now that we want to discuss. So if we go for the construction detail, so there will be a box something like this. If we talk about the prism square, if we talk about the optical square, there will be a box something like this. And there will be slight opening. Something like this on the box. Metal box will be there. So let's say this is your eye. What we will do in this box, we will place two mirrors. At an angle of 45 degree. We will place two mirrors at an angle of 45 degree. So now what will happen? When we will sight like this ray will come to this mirror and it is going to reflect. And this mirror will also reflect the rays and we will able to see in this direction. Why we have placed these two mirrors? Because this was the longitudinal direction. But we want to perform the lateral measurement. For that we have provided these two mirrors at an angle of 45 degree. So this was the longitudinal direction. I am sighting like this, but due to the construction detail of these instruments, I am able to sight you. Now see, I am sighting in the longitudinal direction. But due to this instrument, I am able to see you. This is the lateral measurement. If this is the longitudinal direction, I am able to see you and the angle is perfect 90 degree. This angle is going to be 90 degree. So this is the basic of optical square. As we can see from the construction, whatever will be the angle between these two mirrors, we will able to see just double at an angle of multiply by 2. So if we are placing this mirror at an angle of 40 degree, mirror at an angle of 40 degree, we will able to sight the object which will having the angle of 80 degree. Yes or no? Yes or no? That's why we have placed this mirror at an angle of 45 degree. So from this topic we are getting one question. They can ask one question in your exam like, we can measure the 90-degree angle with the help of the optical square. We can measure the 90-degree angle with the help of the optical square, and we can measure the 90-degree angle with the help of the prism square. If I want to compare these two instruments, in the prism what we will do, we are going to replace this mirror with the help of the prism. We are going to replace this mirror with the help of the prism. So now there will be the prism, same working will be there. Same working will be there. But if I want to compare these two instruments, 90-degree angle instruments, measuring instruments, one is optical square, one is prism square, which one is the best? Which one is the best and why? If we are going to compare the optical square and prism square, which instrument, which 90-degree angle measurement instrument is going to be best and why? Can you tell me? Can you tell me which instrument out in these two instruments, which instrument is going to be best and why? Optical square is best or prism square is best for measuring the 90-degree angle? For measuring the 90-degree angle. Tell me in the chat box. So Riya is saying prism square. Why? Why prism square is best? Is there any reason? Dadan is also saying prism square is best. I'm asking why. Let's say I have considered your answer. Prism square is best as compared to the optical square. The working of the prism square is precise. How you can say precise? Both are measuring the 90-degree angles. Both instruments are measuring the 90-degree angles. So how precision comes into the picture? With the help of the optical square, you will also measure the 90-degree. With the help of the prism square, you will also measure the 90-degree. If both the instruments are measuring the 90-degree, how the precision will different? How the precision will different? How the precision will different? I don't know what is the reason. Okay. I will tell you the reason, don't worry. In the case of optical square, listen carefully. I have studied a week ago. कोई बात नहीं. No worry. I am going to explain. I am going to tell you the reason. We have used two mirrors in the case of optical square. We have placed these two mirrors at an angle of 45 degree. We know the basic concept. Whatever will be the angle between the mirror, we will able to see just double. We will able to sight the object which is having the angle that will be just double of this angle between the mirror. This point is clear. Due to the multiple time we are using the optical square multiple time for the measuring the 90-degree angles. Yes or no? So due to the users, there may be a possibility that this angle between these two mirrors may get changed. Yes or no? And if the angle between these two mirrors are going to be changed, the final angle will also change. Yes. So in the case of optical square, we need adjustment. We need to make sure that what is the angle between these two mirrors. Otherwise, there will be error in our measurement. But in the case of prism square, because we are using the prism, the angle between the surfaces of the prism will not change. Why not in prism square? That I am explaining now. If we are I hope you must have seen the prism. I hope you must have seen the prism. The angle between the surface of the prism will not change. And if this angle will not change, how the output will change? So this problem we will not see in the case of prism square. This problem you will not see. How many times you are using, there will be no effect. There will be no change in the angle between the surfaces of the prism. That's why. How angle will not change? Have you seen the prism? Have you seen the prism? Have you seen the prism, dear? Have you seen the prism something like this? So how this angle will change? If this is the prism, how this angle will change? Tell me. How this angle will change? Yes, we are using the single prism. We are using the single prism. Already this angle is going to be foot. Huh? So there will be no deformation in the surfaces, na? So that's why there is no adjustment required in the case of prism square. On that basis, you have told that the prism square is better as compared to the optical square for measuring the 90-degree angle. For measuring the 90-degree angle. So yes, so this was the principle. This was the principle. Now let's talk about the now let's talk about the one more instrument is there, just for your reference, to measure the ground slope. To measure the ground slope. If you want to measure the ground slope, for example, the ground surface is like this. This is your ground profile. So obviously, can I say there will be the slope? This ground is not leveled. There is a slope, yes. How we can define the slope of this ground? How we can define the slope of this ground? This is going to be the slope theta. Yes or no? This is going to be the slope theta. So if you want to measure the ground slope, if you want to measure the ground slope, if you want to measure the ground slope in the case of chain surveying, we have one instrument that we can use, and that instrument is clinometer. So sometime in the exam they are asking which instrument is used for measuring the ground slope. Which instrument in the case of chain surveying is used for measuring the ground slope? So with the help of the clinometer, yes, with the help of the clinometer, we can measure the ground slope. Point is clear? Okay. So now let's move to the chain surveying. Let's say this is the ground that you need to survey. You need to collect the detail. For example, this is the building block. There is another building block. There is another building block. So this is the ground for which you want to prepare the map. And for the preparation of the map, you required the position of all the points, all the features. And for that, for measuring the horizontal distance, you are going to use the chain. So as per the first principle of surveying, what we will do? As per the first principle of surveying, what we will do? We will define all these control stations or main stations. Yes or no? We have to define this entire area as a whole. We need to define this entire area as a whole. Yes or no? So how we can define this entire area as a whole? By defining the point A, B, C and D. By defining all these points A, B, C and D. Yes or no? So with respect to a fixed reference point, first we can define the point. We can locate the point A, B, C and D. we will install the wooden peg at point A, at point B, at point C, at point D. We are going to install the wooden peg. At that we have already discussed. We will install the wooden peg in the to locate the main stations or the control stations. So, can I say now we have defined this entire area as a whole? We have defined this entire area as a whole, yes or no? So, first principle of surveying is satisfied. As per the first principle of surveying, first we need to define the entire area as a whole. So, now we are going to discuss about some lines that we are going to define in the case of chain survey. So, there are four types of the line. There are four lines that we are going to define. One is going to be the baseline. One is going to be the baseline. Another is going, next line is going to be the check line. Or you can say, first is going to be the main line. Next is going to be the baseline. Next is going to be the check line. And next is going to be the tie line. These are the four lines that you should know about. There are four lines: main lines, baseline, check line, and tie line. Listen carefully one by one. The line joining the main stations. The line joining the main stations will consider as the main line. In the chain survey, the line connecting the line joining the main stations, that line we can define as the main line. Yes or no? The line joining the main stations or the control stations, can we say this is going to be the main line? So discussion about the main line is clear to everyone? Discussion about the main line is clear to everyone, yes or no? Discussion about the main line is clear to everyone, yes or no? Another line and the important line in the chain surveying is going to be the baseline. How we are defining the baseline? It is the longest line in the case of chain survey. It is the longest line in the case of chain survey, and this line should also divide the entire area in approximately two equal parts. So what are the characteristics of the baseline? What are the characteristics of the baseline? First, it should be the longest line. Second, it should divide the entire area in approximately two equal parts. And that line we can consider as the baseline. So in this diagram, as you can refer, this is the line. This is the line. Can we say this is going to be the longest line in this chain survey? This yellow line is going to be the longest line in this chain survey, yes or no? And this is also dividing the entire area in approximately two equal parts. Everyone please confirm beta. Will baseline be longitudinal measurement? Yes, we will perform our survey work along the baseline. So you can move from D to B or you can move from B to D. So this is going to be the survey line. This will be your survey line. We will perform our survey along this line from B to D or D to B. Clear? The point is clear to everyone, yes or no? So main lines, line connecting the main stations. Baseline, it should be the longest line, and it should be, can main line also be longitudinal measurement? Why you are getting confused? Why you are getting confused? If we are moving from station C to B or B to C, this is the longitudinal direction. For any movement, you can define the longitudinal direction. I think you must have seen the road. You have seen the road? Yes or no? Let's take. You have seen the road, yes or no? You have seen the road? Yes. So let's say this is the direction of traffic. Let's say this is the direction of traffic. Let's say this is the direction of traffic and a vehicle is moving like this. A vehicle is moving like this. So can I say this is the longitudinal direction of the road? Along the length, this is the longitudinal direction of the road. Can we say if the vehicle is moving in this direction from A to B, can I say this vehicle is moving along the length of the road? Ria, can I say like this? Or let's say when the vehicle was moving like this, you were standing here and the driver sighted you and the driver seen you like this. So can I say this is going to be the lateral direction? Now the point is clear. Now the point is clear. So if, for example, if we are doing the survey, from B to C, so let's say if I want to locate this object, this is going to be the lateral measurement. If this angle is 90 degree, this will be the offset. This will be the offset. Any other doubt? Any lateral measurement is going to be the offset if the angle is perfect 90 degree. You can take the offset along any line. So main line we have covered, base line we have covered, the line joining the main stations. Can I say biggest line is the base? Obviously you should say. I have just told you there are two specifications, there are two characteristics of the base line. It should be the longest line and it should divide the entire area in approximately two equal parts. The line will satisfy these two conditions will be considered as the baseline. The line satisfying these two conditions will be considered as the baseline. So it should be the longest line and it should be divide the entire area in approximately two equal parts. It should divide the entire area in approximately two equal parts. Okay. Now the next discussion is related to the check line. To check the accuracy of the survey, any line we can use. For example, I have located this point. With the help of the point A. Now I want to check the accuracy of the survey from the point P like this. Any line that we are using to check the accuracy, for example, as per the second principle of the surveying, if you want to locate the point, take at least two independent measurement that we have discussed, or take at least two reference point. But if I want to check the accuracy, so I can take the reference of the 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. Yes or no? As per the second principle of surveying, if you want to locate the position of any point, take at least two reference. But we can take more than two. Yes or no? If you want to check our accuracy, we can take the reference of 5 points. No problem with that. Any line which we are using to check the accuracy of our survey work is known as the check line. The line joining the object and the survey line. The line joining the object and the survey line is known as the tie line. The line joining the object and the survey line is known as the tie line. This tie line may be offset. This tie line may be oblique offset. This tie line may be offset. This tie line may be oblique offset. That will depend upon the angle. If the angle is perfect 90 degree, we will use the term offset. If the angle is not perfect 90 degree, we will use the term oblique offset. So I hope the discussion about the main line, base line, check line and tie line is clear to everyone. Everyone please confirm in the chat box the discussion is clear till now, yes or no. So I have mentioned all the lines here. Main survey stations we have discussed. Main survey lines we have talked about. Check line or proof line we have discussed to check the accuracy of the survey work. And next is offset we have discussed. Yes or no? ऑफसेट के बारे में भी हम लोगों ने बात कर ली. टाई लाइन के बारे में भी, टाई लाइंस के बारे में भी डिस्कस कर लिया. वी हैव आल्सो डिस्कस्ड अबाउट द बेस लाइन एंड दिस वाज द डिस्कशन इन द केस ऑफ चेन सर्वे. टाई लाइन, line connecting the survey line and the object. Whatever object will be there, जिस object की position को आप locate करना चाह रहे हैं, the object whose position you want to locate, whose position you want to define, if you are connecting the survey lines with that object, that line will be considered as the tie line. That line will be considered as the tie line. That line will be considered as the tie line. So in the exam they are asking about the definition of this line. Not in GATE exam. This discussion is not that much very important from your GATE exam point of view. But as I mentioned earlier, we are targeting GATE as well as ESE as well as your state AE exam. So in some exams they can ask, the questions like this. Is there any concept of the tie station? Yes. For example, that station you can consider as a tie station. For example, this is the station P, that Q, that we can consider as the tie station. I hope this point is clear to everyone. So this was the discussion. If I talk about the principle of the chain surveying, so chain surveying is based on the triangulation. So what we will do? We will cover the entire area. And we will first define the entire area. Yes. All the discussion is going to be useful for your semester. Is tie line can be oblique, offset or offset? I think you people are not concentrating on the discussion. Why you are not fully concentrating on the discussion? This point I have clearly mentioned. This tie line may be oblique offset. This tie line may be offset. It will depend upon the angle. And you are asking the same point. If the angle is perfect 90 degree, that tie line is going to be the offset. If the angle is other than 90 degree, that is going to be the oblique offset. So first we will define the entire area as per the first principle of the surveying. Then we can divide the entire area into the small triangles. Let's take one more example. So for example, this is the area that you need to survey. Just try to understand. So first we will explain the main stations. First we will define the main stations, yes or no. Let's summarize all the discussion that we have done. So we are going to define some main stations like this. Now we want to define a baseline. And what were the characteristics of the baseline? It should be the longest line and it should divide the entire area in approximately 2 equal parts. So can I say this green line is going to be the baseline? Can we say like this? This green line is going to be the baseline. Can we say like this? So for example, on this ground, there was a building block. There was a tree. Here there was a tree. And let's say here is a pond or any water body. So we need to prepare the plan or map. So now what we will do, let's say this is the point 1 and this is the point 2. We will start our survey from point 1 to point 2. So this is going to be your main baseline. Ria, if we are moving from 1 to 2, Can I say this is going to be the longitudinal direction? If we are going to take the observation, if we are going to perform the measurement along the line, this line 1, 2, so can I say this is going to be the longitudinal direction? Now I think there is no confusion. Now I think there is no confusion. Yes or no? So now what we will do, how we can collect all the detail. Let's see. So what I have done, when I was moving from station 1, here I have located a point P, and with the help of the point P, I have taken a offset to locate this pond. To locate this pond, I have taken this offset. So this offset is going to be at an angle of 90 degree, and this length we have measured. Let's say this is going to be L1. So with the help of the linear measurement, with the help of the angular measurement, can we define from the point P, can I define this the position of the pond? In this way, can we define the position of the pond? Yes or no? Can we define the position of the pond? Similarly, I am moving from 1 to 2. I have located the point Q, and from Q I have taken this offset of this tree. So let's say this length is L2. Again this angle is 90 degree. Similarly from the point R, I have located this tree. Similarly from the point S, I have located this building block. Can I perform the survey work like this? And we can also record the field data in the field book. So we will have also field book with us. And in the field book, this is the page of your field book. So we will locate this data like this. We will draw this baseline in the field book. So this is going to be the baseline. This is the station 1 and this is the station 2. We have to collect the data. We have to bring this data to the office. Yes or no? So now what we will do, I will represent all these points in this way. So this is going to be the point P, this is going to be Q, this is going to be R, this is going to be S, something like this. So from point P, L1 distance, this is the pond. From point Q, this is the point Q, and this is the, let's say, this is the tree, and from point R, this is the another T, and from S, this is the building block. This is the building block. So P, Q, R, S. In this way, we can measure all these distances L1, L2, L3, L4. In this particular example, I have taken all the offset. There is no oblique offset in this survey work, in this example. I hope how we can perform the field measurement and how we can collect the data, you can see. Yes or no? Now we can plot this detail into the final paper and we can get the map of this field. We can locate all these features on the map. In this way, with the help of the chain surveying, you can prepare the map. You can prepare the map. Now if anyone having any doubt how we can perform the chain survey, what are the various accessories, various instruments required in the case of chain survey, that you can ask. Now the discussion about the chain surveying is clear to everyone. Now the discussion about the chain surveying is clear to everyone. All the points are clear to everyone. So we were talking about the triangulation. We will have detailed discussion on the triangulation, but as of now, so what we will do, we can divide the, for example, this area we need to survey. So what we will do, we will divide this entire area into the small triangles. We can divide the entire area into the small triangle. Let's say this is the triangle 1, this is the triangle 2, this is the triangle 3, 4, 5 and 6 and so on. So now if we have divided the entire area into the small triangles, now what we can do, we can easily measure all these distance. For example, this is the triangle, so we can measure L1, L2, L3, we can measure L4, we can measure L5, we can measure L6, we can measure L7. All these sides we can measure very easily. Yes or no? all the linear measurements performed we can very easily for the small triangles, yes or no? And we can also measure all these angle theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3 for all the angle for all the triangles. So what we have done, we have divided the entire area into the small triangles, and for each and every triangles we can perform the linear measurement, we can perform the angular measurement in more convenient way. So this is the concept of the triangulation. So to cover this entire area, we are covering the small triangles, but again, first we will define the entire area as per the first principle of the surveying. So one point that you should know in the case of triangulation, that whenever we are going to for the triangulation, whenever we are going to apply this method for the collecting the data, what we should remember, any angle of this triangle, any angle of this triangle should not be less than 30 degree. Any angle of this triangle should not be less than 30 degree, and it should not be greater than 120 degree. So if all the triangles are following this condition, if all the triangles are following this condition that the theta lies in between 30 and 120 degree, these type of the triangle will considered as the well conditioned triangle. Well conditioned triangle. And if any angle of the triangle is less than 30 degree or greater than 120 degree, if above condition fails, so these type of the triangle will be considered as the ill conditioned triangle. These type of the triangle will consider as the ill conditioned triangle. So this is the condition that you should know. Whenever we will go for the triangulation survey, we will divide the entire area into the small triangles. But while dividing the entire area into the small triangles, do remember any angle of the triangle should not be less than 30 degree, and any angle of the triangle should not be greater than 120 degree. We required all the well conditioned triangle. We required all the well conditioned triangle. There should be no ill conditioned triangle in the triangulation work. I hope this point is also clear to everyone. I hope this point is also clear to everyone. I hope this point is also clear to everyone. So if anyone having any doubt, any query related to the triangulation or related to the condition of the triangulation, you can ask your doubt, you can ask your query. All the points are clear till now? Okay, so now see the last topic, and that is the obstacle in the chaining. Let's understand what do you mean by this obstacle. Obstruction hota kya hai? Let's see. So for example, let's say there is a building block. Let's say there is a building block. A point is at one end and B point is at another end. So let's say this is the building block. This is the point A, and here this is the point B. So why we are using the between 30? That will improve your accuracy. If all the conditions are well conditioned triangle, if all the triangles are well conditioned triangle, there will be less chances of the error. That's why this condition is important. That's why we require well conditioned triangle. So अगर मैं बात करूं, if I talk about the obstruction in the chaining, so let's take one example. Let's say this is the building block, this is the point A, this is the point B. Tell me, from point A, can you cite or can you locate the point B? From point A, can you cite, or from point B, can you cite or can you see the point A if there is a building in between the point A and B? Tell me. Tell me. Obviously, the answer is no. So, building, can we say it will create the obstruction in the sighting, building is obstruction in the sighting. We cannot see the point A from point B, or we cannot see the point B from the point A. So building is an obstruction in the sighting as well as in the chaining. Can we measure the distance between the point A and B with the help of the chain? Can we place the chain between the point A and B? Can we place the chain for measuring the horizontal distance between the point A and B? Yes or no? Can we place the chain in between point A and B? Answer is going to be no. So building block is the obstruction for both the cases, for the sighting as well as for the chaining, or you can say for the linear measurement. For the sighting and for the chaining. I hope this point is clear to everyone. Now let's take one more example. So now let's take the example of a river or pond. So for example, this is the river. Let's say. Now we are having a point A. This is the point A, let's say. This is the point B. Can we sight point A from point B or for point B from point A? In the case of river, obviously if the distance is less, ये distance अगर कम होगी, तो we can we sight? There is no obstruction. So if I talk about the river, sighting is possible. If I talk about the river, sighting is possible. There is no issue. There is no issue in the sighting. We can see the point A from the point B or from point B from the point A. But if I want to measure the distance between the point A and B, so if I talk about the chaining, so that is not possible in the case of river. That is not possible to measure the distance A and B with the help of the chain in the case of river. Yes or no? Yes or no? So building block is the obstruction in the chaining as well as obstruction in the sighting. Building block is the obstruction in the chaining as well as obstruction in the sighting. River or pond or water body is the obstruction in the chaining, but there is no obstruction in the sighting. So now, what are the various obstacles are there in the case of chain survey? This point is also clear to everyone. So beta, in this way we have completed our major discussion related to the chain surveying. So whatever is required from the chain surveying from your exam point of view, so we have discussed about the chain or tape, different types of the chain, different types of the tape. We have discussed about the different line, main line, base line, check line, tie line. We have discussed about the various instrument or accessories required in the case of chain surveying, like we required ranging rod, we required offset rod, we required plumb bob, we required wooden pegs, we required arrow, and what are their utility in the case of chain survey, that we have already discussed. How we can perform the 90-degree angle measurement, what are the various instruments that are available, what is the offset, oblique offset, in general offset, how we can collect the field data, and how we can record the field data in the field book for the final preparation of the map. In hilly area, how I can perform chain surveying? You cannot perform. That in the beginning itself that we have discussed, if the ground is uneven, we cannot perform the chain surveying, we cannot perform the linear measurement with the help of the chain or tape. For that we will have some other methods, for that we will have some other instruments. It is not possible to perform the chain surveying in the case of hilly or uneven area. So in the beginning itself, for that we will have EDM, for that we will have total station, for we will have some more methods like tachyometry. We can use those methods and those instruments. So always there will be the applicability, there will be the suitability for each and every methods and for each and every instrument. From this point itself, we have started our class कि you cannot apply any instrument in all the cases, in all the situations. That's why for measuring the horizontal distance, for measuring the horizontal angles, we are discussing about the various types of the instrument. Which instrument suits you, which instrument suits your requirement, you can use that instrument for collecting the data. So there is no as such only one instrument that will be universal. Again, same answer, Dadan. Same answer. Same answer. So as of now, we have discussed only one method for calculating for measuring the horizontal distance. But there are various way, there are various instruments, there are various methods from which after applying those methods you can collect the data. So we will discuss one by one. So we have bunch of instrument, we have bunch of methods for the collection of the data. We will pick any particular instrument, we will pick any particular method which suits our site condition. This is the reason we are discussing about the various instruments and various methods. Now I think the point is clear. Now the point is clear, Dadan. Now the point is clear, beta. Any other doubt, any other query to anyone? From the today's lecture, if anyone having any doubt, any query, you can ask your doubt, you can ask your query. Sir, if want to perform chaining in plain area but trees are obstruction, then I do chaining there? No. How you can cross the tree? How you can cross the tree? In that case, we will go for the traversing. If there is obstruction in chaining, we cannot go for the chaining. It's very simple. If there is any obstruction due to which we cannot perform the linear measurement, there will be no linear measurement possible. In hilly area, we cannot measure horizontal distance, but we can measure actual inclined distance. We can measure the horizontal distances also. We have some methods, we have some instruments. With the help of those methods and instrument, we can measure the horizontal distance, we can measure the vertical distance in the case of hilly area also. So that we will cover in the upcoming lecture. And that instrument and that methodology is tachyometry. So with the help of the tachyometric survey, we can perform the linear measurement, we can measure the horizontal distance in the case of, especially in the case of hilly area. So that we will discuss. That we will discuss. Now I think all the points are clear to everyone. So we have just started. We have just, sir, can I ask something? Yes, you can ask. We have just started our discussion of the surveying, and we have discussed only one method, one instrument, that is the chain. So journey is not completed. We have just started our discussion. Is chain surveying completed? Yes, chain discussion for the chain surveying is completed. So now we will see in the next class, we will discuss about the errors and correction in the linear measurement. When we are going to apply the chain survey, when we are going for the chain survey or tape survey, what are the various types of the error that can occur in our measurement? Yes, and how we can rectify those errors. So that will be the next part of the discussion. We will talk about the errors and correction in chain or tape survey. So I hope the discussion is clear to everyone. So this was all about for this class. मिलते हैं कल. See you tomorrow for the further discussion. And Do revise all the concepts before attending the live class. So, before attending to tomorrow's class, try to complete the revision till the today's class. Yes. So follow this approach. Yes, I know it is difficult, but if you follow this approach, you are going to learn subject in a very effective way, in a very effective manner. So this was all about for this class. Thank you everyone. Keep learning. Thank you.